Okay, hello everybody. Today we are going to be reviewing Spider-Man, was it No Way Home? I want to say, because there's been so many different, No Way Home. Okay, so this movie definitely had some twists and turns that I was not expecting. It's been out since, I guess, December of last year, but unfortunately it was just one of those ones that I just didn't make it to go see it in theaters, which is unfortunate because this would have been awesome to go see in theaters, but I wanted to uh, wanted to see it before I go see the new Doctor Strange because I knew it was really multiverse based, and holy crap, there was so much in this. I don't even know if I can talk about it all because I don't even know if I can remember it all just through one watch. But yeah, the villains that they brought back, like Doc Ock and the Green Goblin. And I know we got like little teasers in the trailer as to who was coming back, but we weren't really sure who was going to be playing those parts. I thought maybe James Franco might have had some sort of part in this movie, seeing as he was the Green Goblin for some bit of it. But and then we had Electro and who played the Lizard? You would think he would be right here, right? That's weird that he's not. Oh, come on. Where is he? Oh, yeah, it is just the Lizard. And also, Daredevil being in this now that I guess, those shows have gone over to Disney Plus and they're all part of the MCU now, so it's going to be interesting having all these characters just come in and be part of this universe now because, yeah, there's so many different things they can do now. Now that every character is a part of it. I mean, geez, they can even have a Punisher movie. That would be cool, but it would have to be rated 18A in order to go along with, I guess, the rest of the show. Which I heard they removed, like a tribute to Stan Lee in the Punisher show. I don't know if there's any truth behind that, but I heard that's what Disney has done. So I guess we'll never know because unless I went and watched it on a different platform, and I guess I'll never be able to now, or maybe just bought it on DVD, I suppose, and watched the show through, and then watched it on Disney Plus to maybe if there's any difference now. I don't know how you would know unless you had it on DVD or Blu-ray or 4K, probably before they switched it over to Disney Plus, because now they're just going to be releasing it without that content, I would imagine. So yeah, kind of weird they would take a tribute to Stanley out, but I guess they claimed it was too violent or something. The scene that the tribute was in, I don't know. I mean, that show was just violence from beginning to end anyway, so I don't think they should have probably touched that part of the show, but that's just me saying that. But anyway, that's not what this is really about. This is truly about all three Spider-Mans finally coming together, and I know that there is rumors of Andrew Garfield getting a third Amazing Spider-Man movie now, which I think would be awesome because I really want to see him actually fight the Sinister Six in his own universe. And I mean, just these characters coming back from, oh, holy crap, when was Spider-Man 1 was in what, or the very first Spider-Man was in way back in 2002, and then I think the second one, I know the third one was 2007, and then the second one was somewhere in between, maybe 2004, 2005. Yeah, wow. So I was 11 when the first movie came out. That's crazy to think about, as to how far Spider-Man has, kind of come along over the years, and it's been, geez, 20 years since the first Spider-Man movie came out. That's hard to believe. But, yeah, it was awesome to see Willem Dafoe come back as the Green Goblin, and I think they really kind of, the costume design in this one really looked like what the Green Goblin actually looks like, I suppose, more as compared to like the suit. And I know he has the glider, obviously, but I believe he's supposed to be kind of like what the Hobgoblin was in the Amazing Spider-Man movie, like where he's actually kind of like it transforming into a legitimate goblin. Um, but yeah, I mean, I guess they kind of went with the suit design because like maybe the obviously the animation um, wouldn't have been as far advanced back then as it is today. Like if those, imagine Tobey Maguire playing just Spider-Man now for 3 movies, like how much further advanced that would have been looks wise as opposed to him playing it back way back in 2002. Now I don't think he would have obviously taken on that role now if he had just been offered it randomly at the age he's at, because I think it would have been probably way harder for any of them to try and do 3 movies like that now. But I mean, yeah, it's it's a pretty big, like pretty big shoes to fill to play that role for sure. Now, one of the things I didn't see happening was obviously Aunt May dying in the way that she did, but I guess obviously the Green Goblin is going to take out anybody any way that he can and cause you the most emotional pain that he can. So some of the cast members in this, obviously we know that Tom Holland plays Spider-Man. We know that Zendaya plays MJ. Doctor Strange was in this movie. Obviously this kind of foreshadows the next movie coming up, Doctor Strange, the Multiverse of Madness, because we know that he's now accessed the multiverse and he knows very little about it. And obviously it ends up doing more damage than good, trying to make sure that nobody knows who Spider-Man or what. Yeah, sorry. Who Spider-Man truly is and what the true identity of Spider-Man is. Obviously, I think the spell probably would have worked if Peter didn't try to interfere with it 6 different times to try to change it. That's kind of what cracked, I guess, kind of what made the rift between the universes. And then it ended up bringing all the villains in from other universes and them realizing that they had the wrong Peter, except for, obviously, Norman, who didn't care and was obviously not of sound mind. And when he's trying to cure them all, originally, it's the Green Goblin that ends up taking over Norman again, and they all end up having to fight all of the villains. So Sandman, I was wondering like what kind of part Venom was going to play in this, but he only has a little clip at the very end of the movie, and then he gets transported somewhere else. So I'm not really sure, because I know at the end of the Morbius film, that review's already up, I know at the end of the Morbius film that Vulture comes in, so I'm not really sure whether he's going to be transported to that universe now, and whether all the villains, kind of like the anti-heroes or villains, are kind of band together, because that would be interesting, and then somehow they'll get transported back into Spider-Man's universe, or whether it's going to be, Andrew Garfield's third film universe that they're getting transported into, because they already have Rhino. I know Doc Ock was one of the ones that we seen at the end of the movie, and there had to, and I guess Hobgoblin. So it would kind of make sense now that Vulture, Venom, and Morbius are all in there, because that would be 6 villains, right? And we didn't really get to see who the other villains were. Because I don't think Hobgoblin dies, does he? He just gets... I'm going to have to go back and watch those 2 movies now, because I don't think he actually ends up dying. So that's very interesting. All these universes just kind of tying together was really cool. And the way they brought them in, I thought was maybe a little bit weak, just because they were looking for, obviously, their Peter Parker, and not even without thinking, obviously, that these other 2 Peter Parkers were just going to be in the universe already. So that was... I don't know why I'm yawning so much. So that was kind of a cool concept, them somehow, obviously Ned bringing in the 2 Peter Parkers that weren't even his own Peter Parkers. So then they have to obviously go find Peter and show him that there's two other Spider-Mans there, and then they have to team up and cure all the villains, right? Because that was his original plan, was just to save them, not to hurt them in any way. But obviously, when the Green Goblin took over, he no longer cared, and Aunt May ends up dying in this movie. So they all lose. They all have lost somebody in their own universes, because I can't remember if Aunt May dies in the original Spider-Man or not. I know that Uncle Ben dies for sure, but I'm pretty sure the Green Goblin kills Aunt May, does he not? Or does she live through the entire movie series? I know he definitely goes after her, that's for sure, and then he goes after MJ, but I know MJ lives because he brings it up in this movie that it took them forever to work it out, and like this is Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man I'm talking about, and now they're together, I guess. So yeah, it's kind of interesting to just have the gaps kind of filled that way, where there is no like, you just kind of have to kind of fill in the timeline, I guess, as to how far along their universes have been around, and now they're being sucked into this universe. It's so there's so much, so mind-boggling to just try and fill in the blanks. But yeah, that's basically what you have to do. And then obviously we know that the other Peter Parker, so Andrew Garfield's Peter Parker, ends up losing Gwen in his movie. But he does get a shot at redemption when he is able to save MJ in this universe. And you can kind of see like the look of hurt in his eyes a little bit, but also like he's relieved as well at the same time that he was able to get his redemption, I guess, by saving obviously the other Peter Parker's girl. So that was definitely a cool concept, and the I guess our powers are heightened in this universe from what I'm understanding, but obviously we know how strong the Green Goblin is already, just based on the punishment he could take in Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man universe, and it seems that he can almost take double the amount here when he's facing Tom Holland's Spider-Man, so that's pretty crazy. Because yeah, he wasn't even like getting like Tom Holland's Spider-Man was really just hauling off and decking him in that whole like apartment scene where they're just like going through floors and he's just like beating the crap out of him, and he doesn't even seem to be like phased by it in any such way. Like not even a little bit phased, and he just lets out like this cackle. And I was watching some of the like the classic Green Goblin cackle, and I was watching some of the special features and stuff, and they said that made like the crew and everything said it just made their like hair stand on their arms. So that would be, yeah, it would just be iconic. Iconic isn't the right word. It would just be very what's the word I'm looking for? Very it would just be awesome to be in the room with that kind of presence, I guess. It's kind of, I couldn't really find the words that I was trying to say there. But yeah, just to be, I think just to be in the room with him would be awesome when he was getting into that character, right? And I think he probably did the best job at reprising his role as the villain, and I think it kind of shows that he wanted to be in that role, as opposed to, I mean, Doc Ock, like the guy who played Doc Ock still did a great job, and his name, or Alfred Molina, right, was the guy who played Doc Ock. I mean, he still did a good job, but when they were doing an interview on TV there, it was kind of funny because he said, I just did it for the money, which, I mean, everybody has their own reasons as to why they're going to do a role, right? But I still think he did a fairly fantastic job, and obviously him stealing Peter's nanotechnology was pretty cool to put it into his arms there. And then when Peter saves him, he thanks him, and I wasn't expecting Doc Ock, obviously, to team up with Spider-Man and end up helping cure the other villains. That was pretty cool, because I thought for sure when Electro zapped him there, I thought for sure he'd just gone back to being the bad guy, but he ends up tricking them, so yeah, that was pretty cool to have one of the villains already be on the good guy's side. So another twist that I didn't really see coming for sure. So yeah, kind of interesting how maybe he's going to end up being a bad guy again when he gets transported back to the other. Yeah, I'm not really sure how that's going to work because they're all cured now. So it's going to be interesting to see how the multiverse works in Doctor Strange's movie, and maybe they'll have their own. Maybe they'll be in that movie too for a little while, and maybe they'll end up becoming villains again. I'm not really sure how that's all going to work, but I think I've covered everything that I possibly can in this movie. Obviously, we know Venom's scene at the end where he gets transported to another universe, but we are not really sure where he's going. I'm assuming probably with Vulture and Morbius. That's what I'm assuming, because that would make the Sinister Six, right? But other than that, I'm trying to think of what else I could really talk about. Yeah, I don't think there's much. Other than obviously some of the multiverse scenes, like the fight scene between Doctor Strange and Spider-Man after he's obviously, or after he's contained the spell, and he's wanting to send everybody back to their own universe, whether they die or not, and Spider-Man decides that he should save them. That scene was just awesome, and I can't remember the place he took them to, where he's in like control of everything. But oh my god, that was like Inception and Inception and Inception. Just some of the stuff that was going on. So yeah, that was definitely one of the cooler scenes in the movie for sure. And then Spider-Man ends up trapping him in there, and it ends up being Ned that brings him back out by accident, because he can't close his portals, but he can open them. So yeah, that was just funny when he ends up opening one for Doctor Strange, and Doctor Strange steps through, and then all three Spider-Men have to explain what's happening as they're curing all the villains. And I actually forgot what the guy who played the Lizard actually looked like, because it had been so long since I'd seen that movie. I think it's been a couple years since I've seen the Amazing Spider-Man movie. So yeah, I didn't even remember what he had looked like. Oh yeah, before I go, I guess I should say my rating, right? I gave this movie a 10 out of 10, obviously, because it had that nostalgia feeling for me, especially with Tobey Maguire and Willem Dafoe and Alfred Molina reprising their roles, because that's just crazy. I know they kept it kind of well hidden. Obviously, if you're a huge Spider-Man fan, I don't think there was any way of getting around knowing that the two of them were going to be in the movie. It was kind of just like how long and how big are their roles going to be in the actual movie? Is it just going to be like a quick appearance and then they're gone, or are they actually going to be involved? And it was kind of funny. Tobey Maguire was just in like regular clothing when he came through his portal, and then he just like, when Andrew Garfield Spider-Man asks him, are you going to dress like that, or are you going to put on your suit? He just kind of pulls his shirt down, and his suit was just on the entire time. So he was always prepared no matter what, which is like the classic old kind of cliche superhero thing where you just always have your suit on underneath, but you don't actually tell anybody that you are that superhero. So yeah, that was kind of a cool like little Easter egg, I guess, maybe type of deal in the movie, which I thought was awesome. Other than that, I don't think there's much I can say. I guess other than maybe kind of seeing like the darker side of Tom Holland's Spider-Man at the end of the movie, when he goes after the Green Goblin and almost kills him, but Tobey stops, like holds the glider and stops him from actually killing the Green Goblin, and then the Green Goblin stabs Tobey Spider-Man, and I was like, oh no, don't tell me he's gonna die here. But he doesn't. He doesn't die. He makes it back to his own universe, so that was pretty cool. And they obviously save Norman, so I guess Norman can go back to being a normal scientist and not have the voices in his head anymore. So that's kind of cool. But yeah, that's it for this review. I hope I've touched on everything that I possibly can. I think I have. So, I will see you guys in the next one, which will probably be, I'm hoping will be Doctor Strange. I don't know what order I'm gonna do these reviews in. I think whatever order I do these in, it'll definitely be this one and then the Doctor Strange review, because they kind of tie into one another, I'm assuming. Don't really know that much about the Doctor Strange movie, but I'm assuming there's probably a tie-in or something, like a little Easter egg to Spider-Man in that movie. Ooh, but we will have to see. Anyway, as for right now, I will see you guys in the next one. Bye-bye.